The battle continues for Ryder Cup points, and at the US Bank Championships in Milwaukee, defending champion Kenny Perry tied for 7th, his worst finish in 5 trips to Milwaukee, although he had his moments this time. Perry went on to notch his 6th top 10 finish of the season, and though still short of last year's form when he won 3 times in 4 weeks, he's 5th in the points list and should make his Ryder Cup debut later this year. The ebullient Fred Funk should also be joining the Ryder Cup debutants after finishing tied 2nd at Brown Deer Park behind winner Carlos Franco to nudge him into 8th place on the standings. No wonder he's smiling, he hit 87% of fairways. The following week at the Buick Open in Michigan, Big John Daly was at his irresistible best. The undisputed crowd favourite put himself right into contention with this bit of magic at the 2nd hole of his final round. Daly finished 2nd to Vijay Singh, but is still 10 places from an automatic Ryder Cup place. Scott Verplank has made progress in recent weeks. He was tied 10th in Michigan and lies 12th in the rankings with eyes on a 2nd Ryder Cup appearance. That's if he can replace this man, Jerry Kelly, who's precariously placed in 10th spot after finishing in a tie for 8th at the Buick. There's good news of Jim Furyk. Last year's US Open champion's wrist problems are over and done with. He finished 6th at Michigan. His Ryder Cup place is assured. Can't say the same for Stuart Sink. His 5th place finish elevated him to 13th spot in the Ryder Cup points list, but there are only 2 counting events to go. As for Tiger, well, he keeps flattering to deceive. He eventually finished 3rd behind the champion, but looks impressive enough with the last major just around the corner, and he'll want to improve on a mixed Ryder Cup record later in the year. But in the end, there was disappointment in the galleries that John Daly could do no better than finish 2nd, leaving it too late perhaps to qualify for the team, but hoping that skipper Sutton might just consider him, perhaps, for a captain's pick. But there are many others on the captain's mind right now. Open champion Todd Hamilton, 50-year-old Jay Haas, the sentimental favourite, the reliable Jeff Maggott. Sutton says he wants 2 players in top form and whose game suits Oakland Hills. He said if it were up to the fans to make the selections, then Daly and Haas would definitely get the call. We must wait and see.
It's America 5, Europe 4, the current number of rookies in each team. They've seen the Ryder Cup, they want to be part of it, but it's a team environment like almost no other, and how will these novices perform in the heat of battle?
Some might not perform, the occasion might get to them, others might just come through it with 5 stars. You're just not sure, and that's the beauty of it all.
I think it's a little easier for guys that are first-timers when it's on your own soil, because you know, sometimes you played the golf course quite a bit, and other times a lot of familiar faces in the crowd, you know, and if you're on foreign soil and it's your first time, I think it's a little bit scarier.
I think it's easier for a rookie to perform first off in America, to be honest. Expectation is lower. I was fortunate to have my first time in America at Kiawah Island, and then 93 I was ready, if you like, at the Belfry. It can be and is quite a daunting prospect.
Having to play well for your team rather than just for yourself adds an edge, but maybe it's a little less daunting these days because surely today's rookies are more familiar with and less in awe of their opponents.
I was extremely nervous. It was just something I had never done before. And, you know, playing in front of a large gallery was one thing, but playing against the best players in the world was another thing, and we were more of an awe then of the Americans than we are now. We were already kind of 2 down before we teed off, and that has changed over the last few years, where we meet these guys on a regular basis in the majors, in the World Championship events, in other big tournaments around the world, and we know we can beat them.
Every young player is so worldly traveled now, and I think they know they're there to do a job, and they know they're there to play golf, and they know how to do that, and they go do it.
So what advice, what words of wisdom can a rookie receive from the experienced members of the team?
Maybe one of the advice that I will pass on, and let them know it's 18-hole match play. Anybody can beat anybody. It's just you got to play one shot better than the other guy.
Jesper Parnevik gave me tremendous advice at the start of the week. He said, you know, you come to the Ryder Cup, and his experience was that you know, there's emotion, a huge amount of emotion, particularly coming from the crowd, and you can either fight that emotion and fight the nerves of being in the Ryder Cup, and it can take away from your performance, or you can actually ride that emotion and it can take you to a different level. And I was very conscious of that all week, and it was just tremendous advice.
One piece of advice, I would just say, take your time and try and enjoy it. Try and enjoy the experience and not be frightened of it, because if you enjoy something, you're usually quite good at it.
Just continue to do the same, play your game the way you're accustomed to playing it. I mean, I don't think you can go in there and change your style of play. I think you have to dance with what brought you to the dance, basically.
Well, I don't know what his dancing is like, but Chad Campbell's clubs have been making a pretty sound the last 2 years. The 30-year-old Texan lies 7th on the American rankings, and he looks destined for a Ryder Cup debut this September.
It was obviously a goal of mine to make the team, and you know, right now I'm looking pretty good. Hopefully, you know, a couple more good tournaments and should be good. But definitely looking forward to it. It's definitely going to be a dream, and you know, it's a great feeling being able to play for your country. You know, I know it's very competitive, and you know, hopefully things will go our way.
Chad Campbell not only measures up well on the golf course, but he slips rather comfortably into Ryder Cup attire as well. His game is relaxed, and that's how he aims to keep it come Oakland Hills.
I heard it's a different kind of pressure than you've ever felt before. You know, we're not playing for money, we're just playing for pride, so it's going to be a little bit different, but it's going to be a lot of fun.
Keeping the Europeans at arm's length, that would seem to be the captain's basic plan, would it?
He's left some notes in my locker, and you know, just encouraging me to, you know, play well and try to make the team. It'll, you know, how big of an accomplishment that would be, and you know, how much fun we'd have. And so he's been great, and I think he's going to be a great captain.
And he'll no doubt value having Chad Campbell on his team. Mr. Precision, they call him, hardly ever off the straight and narrow. He shot to prominence last year with 9 top 10 finishes that included victory in the prestigious Tour Championship. A course record 61 on day 3 at Houston laid the foundations for victory, and he eventually put Woods and company in their place in front of huge crowds that included Texan fans and Texan family.
It was a great week. There's a lot of hard work put into that week. You know, this last tournament of the year last year, and had quite a few seconds last year, but hadn't got that first win, and it was nice to be able to end the year on a good note. Those days don't come around too often, so you know, it's nice to just be able to go out there and hit it at the pin and make some putts, and you know, wish those days could happen a little bit more than they do.
And he confirmed his world-class status only 4 months later when he walked away with this season's Bay Hill Invitational.
To get that second one, I guess it, you know, confirms that the first one wasn't a fluke.
No fluke, and no disguising this distinguished gentleman who'd played with him earlier in the week and just wanted to shake his hand.
He's just a great guy. You know, it was great just getting to talk to him and see how competitive he still is, and you know, it's fun. He's a great guy and has done a lot for the game.
So with Arnold Palmer's generous compliments ringing in his ears and his fan base growing by the day, Chad Campbell simply can't wait to represent his country at Oakland Hills.
It's fun playing for a team. It's, you know, it's at times it's a little bit harder because you don't have just yourself to please. You know, you're playing for everybody else. So in that aspect, there's a little more pressure. But you know, hopefully I can have a good week and help the team out.
There'll be more news from the US team in Programme 5 of Countdown when Captain Sutton names his wildcards. Until then, from Nick Dye and me, Tony Adamson, it's goodbye.